Podcaster host Joe Rogan recently posted a video on social media where he reveals that he has COVID-19. He got the Rona. Well, hey, look, that sucks. I guess it kind of served him right because he's going around and he's doing these these tours and stuff where nobody's masked, no mandates or anything like that. In fact, he is against mandates. He's very anti-mandate. So this is not at all surprising to me. And what else shouldn't be surprising is, of course, what he decided to do in order to treat it. He took the horsey paste.
So I got back from the road Saturday night, feeling very weary. I had a headache, and I just felt just run down. And just to be cautious, I separated from my family, slept in a different part of the house, and throughout the night, I got fevers and sweats, and I knew what was going on. So I got up in the morning, got tested, and turns out I got COVID. So we immediately threw the kitchen sink at it, all kinds of meds, monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, Z-Pak, prednisone, everything. And I also got an NAD drip and a vitamin drip, and I did that 3 days in a row. And so here we are on Wednesday, and I feel great. I really only had one bad day. Sunday sucked, but Monday was better. Tuesday felt better than Monday, and today I feel good. I actually feel pretty fucking good.
Oh, well, hey, look at that. You too can feel good if you're able to throw unlimited money at COVID treatments. Again, we threw the kitchen sink at it. Everything. Oh my God, panic. Just throw everything at it. Throw everything at it. Oh, now I feel better. Oh, great. Well, sure. So now some of the treatments obviously might have worked. Okay. Monoclonal has shown a lot of promise, somewhere around 70% effective at treating COVID-19. It's pretty good. That's what Donald Trump had used. And by the way, keep that in your mind, the monoclonal, because it's important context for later on. Now, he also said, well, you took stuff that maybe doesn't work, like the ivermectin. Ivermectin is primarily a horse dewormer, so used on livestock. It is not authorized or approved by the FDA for prevention or treatment of COVID-19. Now, it is approved for human use to treat other conditions. Since it is an anti-parasite, it also has anti-inflammatory properties. But COVID-19 is not a parasite; it's a virus. So far, they haven't really found any evidence from any accredited peer-reviewed papers that really backs up the idea of using COVID-19 to not only using ivermectin to not only combat COVID-19, but also as a prophylactic, as a lot of conservatives tend to be using. Remember, they're not even sick with COVID, and they're saying, well, we're just going to take the ivermectin just to be safe. Now, again, it is not approved to treat COVID-19, and this is very important because there is a human dosage, a safe human dosage of ivermectin that can be used. And people and countries, especially in Latin America, have been using this in clinical trials to see if it treats COVID-19. Now, the New York Times, however, has already reported back in August 30th that ivermectin has failed in those clinical trials. So, not really seeing any benefit. They're going to continue to study that. But so far, the FDA says, no, this is not approved. And we really don't see any evidence that it will be approved for this. And why would it be, of course, since we have a vaccine already? So now, Rogan also mentioned the monoclonal antibody treatments. According to the FDA, this experimental treatment uses laboratory-made proteins that mimic the immune system's ability to fight off harmful antigens, such as virus like SARS-CoV-2. Especially useful for people with weakened immune systems who may not generate a robust response to the COVID-19 vaccines, and for others at high risk of severe illness. All of these monoclonal antibodies received emergency approval for treatment of mild or to moderate COVID-19 in people 12 years or older who tested positive for the coronavirus and are at high risk of severe COVID-19. So, look, there's some pretty key words in here, okay? Emergency approval, okay? Not only that, experimental treatment. You hear people talking about, I'm not going to be a guinea pig for this vaccine. And then immediately they're the guinea pig to another experimental treatment. But then they say the vaccine is experimental. Something seems to be off here. And again, the vaccine has full FDA approval for people 12 and older. Hundreds of millions of doses have gone into people, and it has shown to be incredibly effective at preventing severe illness and death, hospitalizations of COVID-19. It is effective. And yet, these people are like, oh, no, I don't want to be a guinea pig. Oh, no. I'm just going to take an experimental treatment. I'm going to use products that might not even work, and in some cases are not made for humans. People, again, as I show you, and this is where context is important, right? This is where nuance is important. There are human doses and treatments involving ivermectin that have been prescribed, but not for COVID-19. So now when people hear about the wonders of ivermectin from right-wing radio hosts, right? Or right-wing YouTubers, or Joe Rogan, right? In this case, and they go to their doctor, and the doctor's like, "What are you, stupid? No, I'm not going to prescribe you for this." So where else are they going to go? They're going to rush the feed store. They're going to buy up all the ivermectin. They're going to overdose on it because the doses are made for not for humans but for horses. So, but nonetheless, this is what happens. And let me show you some headlines here about this. All right? Here you go. Headlines, just from the last week. This is a sample of them. Ivermectin sales surge at pharmacies, feed stores, by inconclusive studies on effectiveness of COVID-19. Ivermectin sales are through the roof at Phoenix feed stores. North Texas feed stores, low on ivermectin. As misinformation saying it's a COVID-19 treatment spreads. Animal feed suppliers are running out of a horse dewormer. Kentucky poison control sees spike in people taking ivermectin for COVID. Finally, feed store sells out of ivermectin and blames customers trying to treat COVID-19. Come on. Yeah. They're buying up the feed stores. This is what's actually happening. Okay? See, this is insane. Why don't you just get the vaccine? As I mentioned, the US alone has distributed hundreds of millions of doses of the vaccine and have administered them safely. And it works. The majority of hospitalizations now from COVID-19 is among the unvaccinated, which unfortunately is still a large part of the American public, especially Republicans. If you are vaccinated, by the way, and you end up getting COVID, because there are such things as breakthrough cases, turns out usually it will be very mild, meaning your immune system is working because the vaccine has helped your immune system prepare to fight against COVID-19. There are memory cells that are created. There are antibodies that are created. There is research that's showing that this COVID-19 vaccine may actually end up lasting you for years because the certain cells will go into your bone marrow and therefore create the antibodies in there, meaning that this vaccine could actually last for years without needing a booster shot. So, and again, that's preliminary studies. We're not 100% on that. But there is strong evidence to conclude that we might not even need a booster for a couple of years. So, the Biden administration may be jumping on that booster shot a little too soon from what we know. Nonetheless, the vaccine is effective, it does work, and you should get it. That is why experts recommend that people get fully vaccinated and not rely on these, even the monoclonal antibody treatments, which do work. Those are still not as effective as getting vaccinated does. Okay? But Rogan, see, here's the thing. Rogan is not, we don't know if he's vaccinated or not. Okay? He's not saying it. He's certainly not open about it. He's not talking about whether or not he's vaccinated. He's recommended before, and I believe he retracted this, but a few months ago, I think it was in May, he was like, oh yeah, sure, if you're old, yeah, then I recommend getting vaccinated. But if you're young and healthy, well, then you don't need it. You don't need it. Well, guess who most of the people that are clogging the emergency rooms, the hospitals, dealing with COVID-19 are? How old are they? They happen to be young, healthy people, primarily between the ages of 19 to 40. If only there had been some way to prevent this. Oh, right. And here's the thing. One more thing, right? Final point. I don't know if it'll happen, but you remember Herman Cain? Not, Mr. I believe it was 999. Herman Cain got COVID. Feeling great, though. Responded well to the treatment, and then died. I'm not saying this will happen to Joe Rogan. I certainly hope it doesn't. But it just shows you COVID's pretty nasty stuff. Okay? You can look like that you're doing pretty well and that you're recovering, and then suddenly take a turn for the worst. COVID's nasty stuff. Not a joke. But thankfully, we do have a defense against it. Vaccines. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.